according to updated sources today from inside, it's being reported that there's such minimum security here that she shouldn't even be there, especially at the beginning of her sentence like she's at right now. So already our president is covering up and making deals with this pedo sex trafficker. I mean, literally, Ghislaine will go down in history in this country as the worst abuser. She lured so many girls into Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. There's no way he could have done it without her. She, if not, is equal to this disgustingness of Jeffrey himself. She's more, because she built this. Because she's a woman and she built the trust with these underage girls on her womanhood, on her education, on her English accent. She lured them by trusting her and saying she can help you with your dreams to come true. What kind of evilness does that? I'm sure you've heard today that Virginia Giuffre's brother has spoken out, since our president has spoken out, just like puking from the mouth as usual. He pukes out his sister's name, Virginia, as his ownership of property of her. And at the same time, he's just begging to let his sister's memory and all the other victims that can never shake what they've gone through. By the way, Virginia died of suicide earlier this year, like many of her victims, Maxwell's victims. And all the victims are coming out even more so now. They've been coming out for decades and decades, and they just want the file released so they could know, and we all could know, who else was involved in this. And our president has the power to do that right now. But instead, it's also being reported that he's having all the reports and the videos and the files are in his hands. He's having his name retracted from the files. So it was already said that his name was listed 100 and something times in the files. Now he's taking them out. He's having the FBI take them out. And one of the FBI agents on the issue that has been assigned with this group refuses to do it. So they, of course, did what they always do. They asked him to resign or just leave. So he resigned, and they're taking Donald Trump's name out of all the files right now. Just like Donald Trump just took his name out of the Smithsonian Museum where it was displayed, he was impeached. He does not want that to go down in history. Like, all this taking away of words could actually wipe off what this one man has caused. And with everyone in connection to him and his administration and all the cover-ups actually are. You can't just take an eraser to people's lives or to people that are living in this country that have lived through this, all of us, this second time around. You just don't erase that from us. It's embedded. And if he doesn't knock it off now, all this horrific stuff he's doing, he's literally setting up this country for generations of being messed up. Just like after the world wars, for generations, people were messed up from what happened and what people became during those times of authoritarianism, during those times of concentration camps. Things we're seeing right now in our country, literally. It takes generations to grow out of those. And we were growing out of those by accepting everybody in this country. That's what makes our country great. And he's just trying to erase that and make it all go away. Well, I have news for you, Donald Trump. It's never going to go away. We're all never going away. You're the one that's going away. I saw how you were walking yesterday. You can't even walk straight. So you will be leaving the earth soon, I'm sure, whether you think you are or not. And then we're going to undo everything you just did in 6 months. Whether you're here or not, it's getting undone as soon as you leave the office, just as per usual. So you might as well just stop right now, because you're ruining this country. This country trusted you to take it into your hands and make it better. And you're exactly doing the opposite. You have not stopped the war in Ukraine and Russia. They're getting demolished. You said it wouldn't have even happened under your presidency. It's happening under your presidency. You can't say, oh, it's Biden's war. You're the president. It's happening. You promised to stop it in 24 hours. You didn't stop it in 24 hours. You didn't even stop it in 24 days or 6 months. Lies. Lies. Everything that comes out of your mouth or your press's mouth or anyone in your administration or anybody attached to you is just lies. We can't even believe you or the press that you're trying to control anymore. Nobody believes anything. Just like today, it's August 1st, so all the July reports have just came out about jobs that were added and unemployment. And what you're doing to our country is being reported now. It's in the numbers. And you're even messing with the numbers, and it's still showing up as deficits. I mean, and you and your crew of liars just go on TV and just say, oh, we're all right, everything's great. You know, even the labor secretary went on Fox, of course, or CNN and said, oh, you know, with inflation up, there's proof in numbers, even though you're not even reporting the numbers, and there's still inflation. There's still high unemployment. There's still not a lot of jobs. And that's because you took hundreds of thousands of jobs away from federal employees. And many people are getting laid off because of that or because of other stuff that you're doing. I don't have enough time in the day to talk about all the stuff you do. I constantly have to update what I'm going to speak about because you never stop destroying people's lives. Well, you're building a $200 million ballroom in the White House. Lovely. A monument that belongs to the people. You're deciding to change. You're deciding not even to add on, but to change the whole entire wing into a ballroom that you say is your money. Sure, Donald. Sure, you don't even have money. You claim you do. All the money that you're making for our country and for you and your family through crypto, share it. Cut us all checks from all your personal gain that you've gotten since you've gotten into presidency. Come on, let's see you cut us all checks. Nope, you're building a $200 million ballroom. I can't even go on and say these numbers anymore because they're so huge that people like don't even hear the numbers anymore. You literally are spending billions and trillions of dollars, which people don't even hear anymore because you're like just spending them all the time or saying they're coming in all the time. Okay, so if you do get to see the job labor reports, and then if you do get to see people in Trump's administration just come on the air and say, we're all okay, everything's fine. Yeah, you just figure everything out for yourself. You know, listen to everything you listen to, read whatever you read, but always make sure you try it on yourself. Like, is this really what's going on in my life and everybody else's lives around me? And then you know what the truth is for you. That's how I always do everything. One more thing I want to remind people of is that tariffs are taxes. Tariffs are taxes. Yes. And consumers pay those taxes. So don't be fooled by, oh, you're going to get tax cuts or breaks, which is a lie. We're paying the taxes because that's what tariffs are. Even if the corporations are choosing to try to cover some of those tariffs, taxes, we're still going to pay for them. Tariffs are taxes. Consumers pay taxes. Okay, that's the second thing I wanted to remind everybody of today, since it's just a wonderful first day of August. But really it is. The concentration camps that are literally all over the country now. And our leaders are not allowed in them because even though legally they're allowed to step in at any time and check out the conditions, they're even turning them down if they're making appointments. So they're making appointments or they're showing up, but either way they're not allowed to go in. I wonder why. And things are starting to leak out, videos, etc., of everyone in El Salvador and in Alligator, Alcatraz, of the horrific conditions. I can't even say horrific conditions because it doesn't even mean anything to us. We have no idea what it feels like to be there. Except imagine being in a prison here and it being magnified on disgustingness tremendously. I mean, it's got to stop. And these ICE people, I can't believe people are actually doing this. Sons, daughters of human beings are actually executing these things for our country. And they're roughing people up, throwing them to the ground. If you're going to take the job, at least give these people dignity and answer the public around them so people could get notified. If you're not going to give them due process, how about some dignity? I mean, we're being stripped down to nothing. These people are a big part of our country. They're a part of our country. They're not separate from this country. They are our country too. It's insanity. So as of yesterday, coming out of Washington and the ABC News, the agency responsible for carrying out Donald Trump's massive deportation agenda says it has already made tentative job offers to more than 1,000 people as it seeks to ramp up and hire, after signing into law earlier this month, a massive funding boost. And when I say massive, it's the largest funding of a part of our government ever. It's more than the CIA and the FBI combined. It's $76.5 billion with a B dollars. Yeah, I remember seeing Christy Gnomes in one of those depositions last month, live, or the month before, going over the budget that was passed for them in the House. And they asked her about a jet on the list. And it was just, she's like, yeah, I need a jet to fly around. And you know what? She's right. She's in Brazil right now. She does need a jet to fly around. She's in Brazil with her boyfriend. Where's your husband, Christy? It's again, no words. So I've seen personally some recruiting at Indeed for ICE agents brought to my attention, and they are paying ICE agents. You're seeing what these people are doing on the streets in all these cities in our country. They're paying them $100,000 to $125,000 salaries. I'm going to say that again. They're paying these people to rough up other humans $100,000 to $125,000 per year in salary, plus up to $50,000 bonus. What the fuck? Do you know what it takes to get that level of income? It takes like your whole life to get that level. And some people don't even get to that level. You have to go to school to become a doctor, a dentist, an attorney, to make that much money or more. You need to be educated in these fields to actually do surgery on people and to study science. And even if you took the science route or another public office position, again, it's your life's dedication to get to this point that they're starting these people at, which is great for them. But what about starting teachers at that? What about starting hairdressers at that? What about giving stay-at-home moms that annually for raising kids properly? I would have liked that while I was raising my 3 kids, to actually get paid from our government. And because my husband always worked 2 jobs, we were never able to receive any kind of assistance from our government, and neither were our kids, because we weren't in the poverty level. It's so confusing and stunning to me. I could go on about this forever. So they're paying these people more than they're paying regular people in our country, like everybody. Everybody should be paid this much at this point in our lives. Because you need it in this country to make a minimal living in this country. $100,000 to $125,000, one salary, that's going to get you by. It's not going to make you rich. You'll be comfortable. You'll be able to buy groceries and have a car payment. You're not going to be like having multiple cars and Ferraris and stuff like that. Not in this country. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not. I remember when my husband graduated graduate school, and his first job 30 years ago was going to be for like $50,000 a year. And I was like, whoa, this is great. We're not going to be tight anymore, We made the rent. Let's just put it that way. And daycare wasn't around really back then. And so I stayed home. And then when he got home after 2-3 hours of traffic, I would go to work a night shift at the grocery store from 8 to midnight every night. And that's how we make it in this country. And again, we never took any government programs because there wasn't for anybody that was working and trying And that was just to make ends meet. Okay, and now school supply time is here. It's August. My 3 children are adults now. They're all in their 20s, so I don't have to buy them school supplies this year. And now, you know, they need computers and tablets for school and for, you know, college. Not my kids right now. We're through with that for now. But I can't imagine what the average American family spends for their kids on supplies now, because I know what it was when my kids were younger. Every year, I remember this for sure, was twice a year as a family, and I was the financer of the family, still am, handle all the finances. My husband makes the money, and it was back to school shopping for supplies and clothes and Christmas. So twice a year, we'd spend extra money to buy all the supplies, to help the teachers get supplies for their classrooms like they needed. And, you know, we didn't go big or anything. We needed backpacks, 3, that usually broke during 1 year or half a year. So every year they would all need backpacks, you know, and then all the other notebooks and, you know, the pencils and pens. The calculators for math, by the time they were, you know, getting later on in elementary school or middle school, back then they were $90 for the calculator. I have no idea what they are now. Again, it's crazy how much you'd have to spend. And then for back to school clothes, again, I wouldn't go all out, but they did need clothes every year. They were growing every year. So, and I wanted them to look nice for school. So, like, I was raised in New York, so half of my life I was in New York, the other half I've been in North Carolina. New York makes a bigger deal about clothes and appearance. North Carolina makes a bigger deal about necessities and behaving and, you know, getting strength from finding out who you are in school. Not that there's a perfect school system here. There is not, by far. But it's just a different balance. So in New York, growing up, we would be, you know, we wanted designer jeans, we wanted designer everything, you know. And then here, we didn't have that influence, which was nice. And I had to be careful not to reintroduce it into my family and into the school system. Otherwise, I noticed it could happen quickly throughout the school. So again, they needed new clothes and necessities. Twice a year, our credit cards went up. And then for the next few months, we had to pay them off. And then when you finally come clear, you're, you know, going back to school. Did we ever take a real summer vacation? No, we did not. We always drove to our family's house and stayed there for a week. Always. We never took a real vacation. And we never could. We never had that extra disposable income. I mean, keeping your kids in activities for after school now is just crazy. Crazier than crazy. And to keep your kids up with the times, they have to be active. They have to be in activities. So your time and your finances are thin in this country, even when you make a good amount of money. So good for these people. They're starting out, just to recap that. But how about everybody else? Everybody else needs to get paid that amount, no matter what they do. I don't care. Anybody in the museum, in the library, in City Hall, everybody should be making that kind of money. And also, they're getting student loan forgiveness. Do you fucking believe that? Biden tried to get loan forgiveness for the kids. And I thought this would be the one thing the government could help us with, by helping forgive our kids their student loans? Nope. Trump and the Republicans blocked that down. But they're giving ICE detention agents student loan forgiveness as one of the benefits. Health benefits, all the health benefits, 401k. Also, parental leave. Yeah. So these people are getting everything that us demos have been fighting for tooth and nail for years in this country, that all the other countries have. They're giving them to these ICE agents. Oh, when I heard that student loan, I was livid. So again, the immigrants, I even hate saying the immigrants, the people of this country that are getting taken away is horrific. The way they're doing it is disgusting. It makes me so sick. Somebody has to start being held accountable. What can we do as a nation to stop this? 92%, and this is a fact, of the immigrants they are rounding up have no criminal record. 92% of the immigrants they're rounding up, 92%, have no criminal record. Oh, and by the way, you're not a criminal for being in this country. That's not a crime. Just so you know that is not a crime. Again, go after all those other people that are actually committing crimes. Whether what color their skin is. You know, you see all these shootings around and then all of a sudden everything quiets down. The political figure in Virginia just the other day got thrown a bucket of gasoline and lit him on fire. You notice how all the crimes, like all of a sudden everybody thinks it's okay because our government's doing it. So they're teaching our country by example. It's okay to do what I do, even though they're saying don't do it. You know, this isn't political, and they cover everything up and make it all go away. And then when somebody shoots somebody, you know, with the gun laws, oh, this has nothing to do with everything. Everything's okay. Why can't we talk about everything great that's going on in this country? You know what? I am a positive person, and I know you probably can't tell from my channel, but it's really hard to pick out something good that this administration is doing. I can't think of one. I tried to think of one today, and I couldn't think of one. I wish I could come up here and say something really nice that's going on every day. Nothing would please me more. So hopefully one day. So just a quick update on the ICE raids. They're still going on and they're ramping them up. They're continuing to hire people. And not only, according to this NBC article, have they hit, many parts of California, Los Angeles, Southern California, San Francisco, Oakland, Santa Ana, Sacramento. Again, I'm reading this and it sounds like nothing, but if you see footage on this stuff, it just breaks your heart. Of course, unless you have no heart, that's very possible around here these days. Albany, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, New York City, Chicago, Philadelphia, Denver, Miami, various cities in Texas, Seattle, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Phoenix. Okay, I'm going to post now and show you this map. This map that shows our country, obviously, is actually, the shades of this color show that 287 pending agreements between ICE and state local officials, because ICE can't meet their agenda, this crazy number that they put out there for every day. They can't meet that every day without even with their budget. They can't meet it every day without government local officials like police, etc. So now you're seeing police in some of these ICE videos. I know I am, and I'm like, why are the police helping them now? Because, in the past I saw them diffuse the situation. So I hope they're still diffusing the situation. But as you could see on this map, New York, California, and Illinois, some of the blue states, they have local and state laws that prohibit the authorities from assisting in immigration arrest. So that's why they're not shaded at all. They have laws in place that prohibit the police to help assist in this matter. I don't know if that's better or worse, but the videos I've seen in California, the police officers, like I said, actually diffuse the situation and help the people that are following the ICE when they kidnap somebody. And then the ICE goes after the person that's trying to help the victim. If a police officer comes, they diffuse the situation. So this map, as you can see, the darker shades have more local enforcement help, and obviously Texas and Florida are huge with assisting in this wave of deportation. I think they're calling it the big tidal wave in Florida, which is just an insult. I mean, how could you name what you're doing to human beings a natural disaster? I know, why am I asking why? So yeah, you'll see they're actually assisting them along with other officials in those states in raids like the DEA and stuff. They're actually going in and assisting ICE on taking these people en masse, deportating them. So I thought that was pretty interesting when I saw that. I wanted to show that to you. North Carolina is also where I live. They have some agreements in place to help too. So I haven't seen anything. I live in a red county just outside of Raleigh. So I'm not like, well, it's pretty red, but when you start coming out of Raleigh, it's still blue overflow because Raleigh, has so much, it's been like the #1 city or always in the top 3 to 5 cities for growth. And also the outskirts. So there's lots of blue overflow, and Raleigh's super blue, as is Asheville and Charlotte. Being a Republican or not, or being a Democrat or not, or being more left or more conservative, it's about doing the right thing and helping others and making the right decisions. So let's get through this together. We got a big taking on to do, and we need everybody in. So please, everybody, follow your heart. If you're feeling the same way that most of the rest of the country is feeling, just follow your heart, and we'll start taking care of the business. We already are, by this huge wave that has woken up. Donald Trump, the monster, has woken us up. All right, that's it for today. I'll see you really soon. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Much love.